everything started when Ryan Reynolds decided to stroll onto the movie set one day and review the dailies. Lately, everyone is bashing Blake Lively, but apparently the true villain in this saga is...
Ryan Reynolds has found himself in a highly uncomfortable situation after he was caught on camera, admitting to a rather awkward and inappropriate behavior, staring at a stranger breastfeeding her baby in public. What seemed at first to be a harmless admission quickly spiraled into something much larger and more problematic when his wife, Blake Lively, found herself in the midst of a sexual harassment lawsuit against actor Justin Baldoni. Controversy unfolded with the media, and public scrutinizing the hypocrisy surrounding Ryan's actions. He seemed to have no issue laughing about the incident, yet Blake's lawsuit, accusing Baldoni of sexual harassment for essentially the same behavior, was being taken incredibly seriously. Quickly became apparent that the support Ryan had shown his wife was somewhat undermined by his own actions, and now he's in hot water, with many questioning his integrity and the motives behind his public stance. Blake Lively's lawsuit against Justin Baldoni centered around allegations of sexual harassment, with one of the key claims being that Baldoni barged into her trailer uninvited while she was breastfeeding her child. Blake described the incident as a humiliating moment that made her feel unsafe on set, and she expected her husband to support her by taking action. Ryan Reynolds, in turn, backed Blake in a way that suggested he found the incident deeply offensive and unacceptable, publicly condemning Baldoni for invading her privacy. However, what complicates matters is that, not long after, Ryan himself admitted to a similar action. In an interview, he casually shared the story of how he once stared at a woman breastfeeding in a hotel lobby for several minutes. His tone was lighthearted, making it seem like an innocent mistake and even cracking jokes about how awkward it was. But the woman in question had been uncomfortable, fully covered, and trying to care for her child in peace. Ryan's self-deprecating attitude regarding the whole situation raised serious questions about whether he genuinely understood the significance of the behavior his wife had accused Baldoni of. This bizarre contradiction between Blake and Ryan's actions didn't stop there. Blake Lively's lawsuit against Justin Baldoni also featured accusations that another man, Jamie Heath, made her feel uncomfortable by simply making eye contact with her while she was pumping milk in preparation for breastfeeding her baby. She claimed this was enough to label him a predator, despite there being no physical contact or inappropriate comments made by him. All he did was look in her direction, but that was enough for her to categorize it as harassment. Fast forward to Ryan, who not only admitted to staring at a woman breastfeeding but did so for several minutes and even found humor in it. If Blake's logic in her lawsuit is followed, shouldn't Ryan Reynolds now face the same level of scrutiny for his actions? He clearly violated the boundaries that his wife so strongly argued should never be crossed. Yet, instead of acknowledging this hypocrisy, Ryan brushed it off with jokes, and this only deepened the public's growing sense that the double standard was glaringly obvious. As the weeks passed, the situation continued to deteriorate. Blake and Ryan had long been seen as the quintessential Hollywood power couple, admired for their charming public personas and seemingly perfect marriage. However, as more people began to analyze their behavior and the mounting contradictions, cracks began to appear in the carefully crafted image they had built over the years. One of the most significant signs of this unraveling was Taylor Swift's distancing from Blake Lively. For years, the two had been inseparable, with their friendship playing out in the public eye and their fans eating it up. But now, reports surfaced suggesting that Blake had been using her connection with Taylor to try to gain leverage in her legal battle against Baldoni. When Swift found out, she was reportedly furious, feeling blindsided by the entire situation. For the first time, Taylor refused to publicly defend Blake or even comment on her scandal, signaling a significant break in their once close friendship. Public fallout from this situation was clear. The beloved celebrity couple was losing their allies, and their carefully curated public image was beginning to disintegrate. Blake Lively's co-stars were also beginning to distance themselves, with some, like Brandon Senior, her It Ends With Us co-star, outright refusing to publicly support her. When asked about the lawsuit, Senior dodged questions, chose to stay silent, and refrained from defending Blake in any way. In an industry where loyalty and public support are critical, this was a significant blow to Blake's reputation. Scener's lack of engagement was seen as a reflection of what many in Hollywood were already thinking. No one wanted to be associated with this drama. Even her fellow actors, who would normally have her back in a situation like this, were reluctant to get involved. This only fueled the perception that Blake Lively's behavior behind the scenes, coupled with her escalating legal drama, was starting to tarnish her standing in the industry. Her diva antics were being exposed, and it seemed that the very same people who had once been her closest allies were now backing away as her personal and professional life spiraled out of control. Meanwhile, the backlash against Ryan and Blake began to hit them where it hurt most, in their careers and their public image. Despite years of carefully positioning himself as Hollywood's funny guy, Ryan Reynolds started seeing cracks in his once glowing reputation. The 2023 Oscars, Ryan made a surprise appearance as Deadpool, a character he's long been known for. Normally, such an appearance would have been met with thunderous applause, but instead, the audience greeted him with silence. This awkward moment was a clear indication that Ryan's charm, once beloved by fans and peers alike, was starting to fade. People who had adored him for years were now growing indifferent, and the enthusiasm that once surrounded him was no longer there. What had once been a beloved and entertaining part of his public persona was now met with uncomfortable silence, signaling a shift in public perception that could no longer be ignored. This moment at the Oscars was just the tip of the iceberg, signaling that Ryan's long-standing public image was unraveling, and Hollywood was beginning to pull away from him. And then came the blow to Ryan's business ventures. His gin brand, Aviation Gin, was quietly replaced in a film where Blake starred. Instead of his product, the movie used a competitor's gin brand. This wasn't just a small detail. It was a deliberate move that suggested industry figures were now distancing themselves from the Reynolds Lively brand. Hollywood runs on public perception, and with the public souring on Ryan and Blake, the industry was taking notice and pulling back. This signaled that the once untouchable couple, who had become synonymous with success and adoration in Hollywood, were now losing their grip on the very things that once kept them at the top. No one in Hollywood wanted to risk their own reputations by being tied to a couple whose personal drama was beginning to overshadow their professional successes. Beyond the media and career struggles, Ryan's actions have also raised alarm bells about the level of control he exerts over Blake Lively's career. Leaked text messages revealed that Ryan had not only pressured Justin Baldoni to change the production schedule for It Ends With Us, so that Blake wouldn't be away from him for too long, but had also gone to extreme lengths to manipulate her professional life to keep her close. He even offered to get a tattoo on a very sensitive part of his body if Baldoni would comply. This was not a light-hearted joke. It was a sign of just how far Ryan was willing to go to keep control over his wife's life. His actions were not those of a supportive husband, but rather those of someone who was desperately trying to maintain dominance over every aspect of her career. It wasn't just about love or support, it was about control, and it was clear that Ryan wasn't comfortable with the idea of Blake working independently or without his involvement. Ryan's attempts to manage Blake's career didn't stop at production schedules. When Blake received negative press, especially regarding her promotion of It Ends With Us, Ryan allegedly took charge of her PR strategy, trying to shift the blame for any negative press onto others. This included drafting a public statement where Blake's team and Ryan would take full responsibility for any backlash the film received, despite Blake's role in the production. Ryan tried to manipulate the narrative by ensuring that Blake came across as the innocent victim, while everyone else took the fall. He even tried to get Baldoni's team to sign off on this false statement, but when they refused, Ryan doubled down, using the media to further spin the story in Blake's favor. It was a clear example of how Ryan was orchestrating the media and manipulating the public narrative to suit his and Blake's needs, regardless of the truth. In the end, the public in Hollywood are seeing a different side of Ryan and Blake than the one they've carefully cultivated for years. The texts, the control, the manipulation, it's all starting to come to light. And the more people connect the dots, the more Ryan's supportive husband image is looking like an obsession with control. Behind the scenes, Ryan seems to be desperate to hold on to power, controlling every aspect of Blake's life and career to keep her from becoming too independent. This isn't just a PR disaster. It's a deeper look into the unhealthy dynamics that could be fueling their public fall from grace. Cracks in their image are widening, and the industry is beginning to notice. If this downward spiral continues, their once untouchable status in Hollywood could be permanently damaged, and the public's perception of them will likely be forever altered. The truth is coming out, and it's not a good look for the power couple anymore. And there you have it. Ryan and Blake's carefully crafted Hollywood image is crumbling fast. The hypocrisy, the manipulation, and the public backlash are undeniable, and it looks like their golden couple status might be slipping away for good. Hollywood's turning on them, and the truth is coming out. Stay tuned, because if this keeps up, their downfall could be one of the biggest in Hollywood history. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the drama. Trust me.